Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Mukesh English, and this is your Mukesh Soni. In this video, I'm going to have the discussion of the open elective titled Spoken English for Global Communication. And here we shall have the discussion of the important question paper of August-September 2023 with reference to the fourth semester. So you discuss, I mean to say, you refer any question paper, all the question papers are applicable to any semester. I would say the reason is here the syllabus is same. If you are taking if you are taking this paper in the first semester, you can refer to the remaining semester's question papers also. So you need not worry about that. Does it a first semester QP or the third semester QP? All QPs, all question papers can be used as a practice paper in any semester of particular open elective. So this is my common message to everybody. So let's begin the discussion here. Spoken English for Global Communication question paper 2023. And the very first section you have here, answer any 5 questions in 2 or 3 sentences. And each question is for 2 marks. So 2 marks, 5 questions. Question number 1. Explain the concept of language imperialism. So what is the meaning of language imperialism? Language imperialism is the ever-growing impact and dominance it has on other languages around the world. This linguistic imperialism or dominance can be traced back to, we have to refer again to the colonialism. So British and American colonizers generally adopted the assimilation strategy by beautifying English in the colonies, associating the language with civilization, advancement, and progress. Colonizers often belittled indigenous languages, leading to a decline in status. Now we have question number 2. What is jargon? Jargon is a specialized terminology or technical language used by a particular group or profession. Then give reason for the development of Indian English. The development of Indian English is influenced by historical, cultural, and linguistic factors reflecting the diverse linguistic landscape of India. Then what is meant by register? Register here refers to the level of formality or style of language used in a particular context, for example, formal, informal, technical, colloquial. Why is group discussion important? It's important for fostering communication skills, collaboration, and the exchange of diverse perspectives. Then mention any 2 qualities of a good reader. Interact with the text, have goal for reading, evaluate text for important ideas, note the structure of text before reading, make predictions. These are the qualities of a good reader. Then mention any 2 C's of communication. So there are 7 C's: clear, concise, concrete, correct, coherent, complete, and courteous. So out of 7 questions, you need to opt here only 5 questions, each for 2 marks. So we have discussed here 10 marks question. Now you have here 4 questions you need to opt, and each question is for 5 marks. So 5 marks, 4 questions. Question number 1. How does global presence of English pose a great threat to local languages? So English language imperialism accompanied the dominance and expansion of the United Kingdom and the United States, threatening the survival and development of indigenous languages of colonies. It diminishes the use and value of minority languages and in some cases completely displaces them. Linguistic imperialism's privileges given to specific languages lead to inequality among languages. Speakers of the dominant languages tend to have advantages in education, employment, and social status, while the speakers of minority languages tend to be disadvantaged. Many countries have recognized the dominance of the English language and its diverse effects on sustenance of native languages and cultures and have adopted countermeasures such as bilingual or multilingual policies and maintained and propagated their languages and cultures due to the adverse effects on local languages. Question number 2. Explain the stages of active listening. So which are the stages we have in active listening? Stage number one, receiving. Receiving is the intentional focus on hearing a speaker's message, which happens when we filter out other sources so that we can isolate the message and avoid the confusing mixture of incoming stimuli. At this stage, we are still only hearing the message. If we have barriers to our listening, it is important to be able to recognize them and avoid those behaviors that contribute to poor listening. Stage number two, understanding. In the understanding stage, we attempt to learn the meaning of the message, which is not always easy. For one thing, if a speaker does not articulate clearly, it may be difficult to tell what the message was. What the message was. Did your friend say, I think she'll be late for class? Or my teacher delayed the class? Even when we have understood the words in a message, because of the differences in our backgrounds or experiences, we sometimes make the mistake of attaching our own meanings to the words of others. Stage number three, remembering. Remembering begins with listening. If you can't remember something that was said, you might not have been listening effectively. The most common reason for not remembering a message is because it was not really learned in the first place. However, even when you're listening attentively, some messages are more difficult than others to understand and remember. Stage number four, evaluating. The fourth stage is the listening process in evaluation or thinking critically about the message. We might think, this makes sense, or conversely, this is very odd, because everyone embodies biases and perspectives learned from widely diverse sets of life experiences. Evaluations of the same message can vary widely from one listener to another listener. Even the most open minded listeners will have opinions of a speaker, and those opinions will influence how the message is evaluated. People are more likely to evaluate a message positively if the speaker speaks clearly, presents ideas logically, and gives reasons to support the points made. Last stage we have here, responding through feedback. So, feedback, response to the message, is the fifth and final stage of listening process. Almost anything a listener says or does can be interpreted as feedback. Making eye contact, nodding your head when a classmate or instructor is speaking. These are the examples of positive nonverbal feedback. On the other hand, looking at your mobile phone would likely to be construed as negative nonverbal feedback. Positive positive verbal feedback could be saying great job, or telling the speaker you found his or her message very much interesting. So these are the five stages in the active listening process. Next, explain the role of empathy in listening with examples each, or you can mention the role of empathy. Number one, empathy is the pillar of interpersonal communication as it bridges the gap between minds and the hearts. The goal of empathetic listening is to show compassion and support to the speaker and to help the speaker feel heard and understood. Empathetic listening requires the listeners to set aside their own biases and judgments and to focus on the speaker's message. The listener should pay close attention to both the speaker's verbal and nonverbal communication and should also try to identify and acknowledge the speaker's emotions and needs. To practice empathetic listening, the listener may use techniques such as paraphrasing, reflecting, and asking open ended questions. Empathetic listening is a key skill in many fields, including counseling, social work, and healthcare, but it is also important in everyday communication and relationships. By showing empathy and understanding, the listener can build trust and rapport with the speaker and can help to resolve conflicts and strengthen relationships. Now, the examples for empathy in the active listening, we have example is here. A friend who is going through a tough time, how is the response? So, friend one says here, I just feel so overwhelmed lately. There's so much going on, and I don't know how to handle it all. Listener says, I'm sorry to hear that you are feeling overwhelmed. It sounds like you are dealing with a lot right now. Can you tell me more about what has been going on? So this is one of the examples of empathetic listening. Question number 4, why are cultural considerations important in active listening? So we need to be very much sensitive in the active listening as far as the cultural considerations are concerned. So we have some guidelines. Number 1, be aware of different communication styles. Different cultures have different communication styles which can impact how they express themselves and how they perceive others' communication. Example, some people might speak in a more indirect way than they are used to. Instead of interrupting or trying to change their style, you make an effort to listen more closely and ask for clarification whenever it is required. Number 2, respect cultural differences. Beliefs, values, practices, and traditions all fall under the category of cultural diversity. Respect the speaker's cultural peculiarities and refrain from imposing or on. Don't impose. Be aware of your own prejudices and presumptions. Example, one of your friends' cultural backgrounds has different beliefs about mental health than the mainstream culture in your area. So rather than not agreeing these beliefs or imposing your own views, you listen to their perspective and try to understand where they are coming from. Third one is here, avoid stereotyping. Stereotyping involves making assumptions about people based on their cultural background. Avoid making assumptions about someone based on their cultural background. Instead, focus on listening to the individual experiences and perspectives. Example, you're working with a client from a culture that have had limited exposure in the past. Rather than assuming you know everything about their culture, you listen to the individual experiences and perspectives and avoid stereotyping. Fourth one, use the respectful language. So be mindful of the language you use when communicating with someone from a different culture. Avoid using slang or idioms that may not be familiar to them. If you are unsure of how to phrase something, ask for clarification. Example, your friend speaks English as a second language and is not familiar with some of the idioms you use. So rather than assuming they understand, you take time to explain your meaning in a very clear and respectful way. Last question, because you have 5 questions, you need to attempt here 4 questions. So what are the guidelines for asking effective questions in active listening? So we have 5 types of effective questions. Open-ended questions. So when you're asking open-ended questions, pose the questions that encourage detailed responses, fostering a deeper meaning of the speaker's thoughts and feelings. Second, clarifying questions. Seek clarifications on ambiguous points to ensure accurate comprehension and demonstrate genuine interest in the speaker's message. Reflective questions. Repeat or paraphrase the key points to show empathy and confirm your understanding, enhancing the speaker's sense of being heard. Avoid leading questions. Steer clear of questions that suggest a particular answer, allowing the speaker to express themselves freely without any bias. Timely questions. Choose appropriate moments to ask questions, avoid interruptions. So these are the guidelines for asking effective questions in active listening. So these are the 5 questions. You need to attempt only 4 questions. I'm sorry, there's one more question is here. Out of 6, you need to attempt 4. Explain in detail the difference between formal and informal speaking with examples. So what is formal speaking? Formal speaking is characterized by a structured and polished manner of communication. It's often used in professional settings, academic environments, or formal events. So there are few important features. Number one, language and tone. Use the complete sentence, avoid the contractions, don't use the word I am, employing a respectful tone. Vocabulary. Choose a, choosing sophisticated, specialized vocabulary appropriate for the context. Use, for example, using utilize instead of the word use in a business presentation. Body language in the formal presentation, use the composed posture, eye contact, etc. Business presentation, delivering a report in a boardroom meeting, academic lectures. So these all come under formal speaking. Informal speaking here refers to a relaxed and casual style of communication. It's often used in a very everyday conversation, social interactions, and casual settings. So here we have few features, language and tone. So here language will be very much informal. People use the contractions, they use the humor, colloquial expressions, vocabulary, a very much common everyday vocabulary is being used here. Instead of using the word communicate, use the word talk. Then body language should be in here again informal, so very much expressive facial expression should be used here. Casual conversation, we're chatting with friends about weekend plans, etc. So that's the difference between formal speaking and informal speaking. Then the question number seven. So explain the strategies of effective speaking. So you can pause the video and you can go through those description. You have the first strategy, listening to different English varieties. So you should listen to varieties of English, the pronunciation, the intonations, the tones. So I would suggest you here, you listen to more FM channels. There are so many podcasts are available. Second, focusing on the basics. So very basics means to say the pronunciation, stress, pitch, intonation that you need to learn more. Then practicing pronunciation, you need to practice, you need to try to overcome the mother tongue influence, use appropriate tone and pitch. You need to understand where to use the falling tone, rising tone, rise, fall, fall, rise. So these are the strategies we have here. Few more we have, emphasizing keywords. So generally we should emphasize the verbs, adjectives, adverbs. So that's going to change the speech pattern. Recording and reviewing the speech. Today we have a lot of technological tools. We have the WhatsApp where we have the feature to record our speech, record, re-record, identify the pronunciation, I check the stress level, pitch, intonation. So these are the different ways to you can improve your speaking skills. So like this you will be having a 7 questions. I forgot, there are 7 questions, and out of 7 questions you need to opt here 4 questions. Now we are going to have a discussion here, 10 marks questions, and here you have very limited choice. Only 2 questions you have here for a choice. Attempt only one. 10 marks questions. How did English receive the current status of global language? As English is my answers are just an introductory answer. You can add your answer also. Don't limit yourself with my answers. As English is widely spoken language, it has often been referred to as a world language or the lingua franca of the modern era. Lingua franca is a connecting language as a bridge language used between groups of people who speak different languages. About 80% of the world's English speakers are non-native speakers who either use English as a foreign language or as a lingua franca. Of this 80% of non-native English speakers, the number of speakers who use English as a lingua franca is expanding rapidly. Users are increasing. So, being the largest group of English speakers, the non-natives now tend to set trends and new coinages in the English language. While English is not an official language in many countries, it is currently the language most often taught as a foreign language around the world. English is no longer an exclusive property of the native English speakers, but is rather a language that is absorbing the aspects of cultures worldwide as it continues to grow. Second question, what are the skills or the strategies we should use to develop our communication skills? So I'll just go through the key points. You can pause the video. Language proficiency, we should be an active listener. There should be clarity and conciseness. We should be aware about the cultural differences. Non-verbal communication, the body language should be improved. There should be very empathetic listening should be happen here. We should be empathetic while listening, right? These are the questions for the 10 marks. You can give your own explanation. Now we are moving to the another part of the question paper. Now here we have do as directed. Here you had 2 marks questions, the jumble segment. So if you go through here, the jumble segment, my father is an architect. Next one is here, when will the summer camp start? That's for 2 marks. Then we need to read this paragraph and we need to answer 3 questions. So you can pause the video, you can read the paragraph, and based on the paragraph you'll be having here 3 questions, and these 3 questions answers are highlighted. It will be objective multiple choice questions. You need to answer the questions with the options like A, B, or C. Then after paragraph writing, you have here essay writing. I would say here right, cause and effect as on substance abuse among youth. So this it's like a very paragraph writing. You can write the paragraph, use a very appropriate language, simple language. You can pause the video and you can read the answer. So paragraph writing is for 5 marks. Then you have your picture interpretation. A picture will be given on your question paper. There will be some keywords. Based on the keywords, you need to draft a paragraph. You need to draft a paragraph about this picture. So this picture talks about some sort of tufan, some sort of hurricane. So you can in this striking image, the focal point is a man walking in solitude, his figure casting a solitary silhouette against a backdrop of devastation. So you can pause the video and you can talk about this picture, and you can also give your own opinion. My answers are not limited. Last question, we have very important question. That's for 5 marks. Here, in on your question paper, CV will be given, a resume or curriculum vitae will be given of a person, and you need to prepare a SOP, statement of purpose. Write an SOP for the application of post graduation in San Francisco University. So that's for 5 marks. So if you look at, you don't copy the CV. This CV is already given on a question paper about the person's name, address, career objectives, strength profile, then technical skills, hobbies, personal information, etc. Based on this, you need to prepare the SOP. So in the SOP, what happens? You are going to summarize your CV in a very simple terms. You are going to highlight your own strengths, and you need to say that why do you want to join the particular university? Why do you want to pursue the particular course? So you have the sample answer here. I'm going to read the answer. Statement of purpose, SOP. As an aspiring candidate, I'm writing to express my keen interest in pursuing a post-graduation program at San Francisco University. With a bachelor's degree in arts from Navyug Degree College, Lucknow, I have developed a strong foundation in liberal arts, which has fueled my passion for further academic exploration and specialization. My academic journey has instilled in me a thirst for knowledge and a commitment to excellence. Throughout my education, I have consistently strived for academic excellence, maintaining a GPA, CGPA or GPA 8.0 in my bachelor's degree. My strong academic background, coupled with my proficiency in English, effective communication skills, positions me as a suitable candidate for the rigorous academic environment of San Francisco University. Beyond academics, I possess the technical skills in MS Office and Tally, along with a penchant for internet research, which I believe will complement my learning experience and contribute to the academic community at San Francisco University. Moreover, my ability to work under pressure, coupled with a positive mindset and strong work ethic, will enable me to excel in the demanding academic environment and contribute positively to group projects and collaborative endeavors. Outside of academics, I nurture interest in playing chess and reading books, which have not only enriched my personal life but also honed my strategic thinking and analytical skills. In conclusion, I am enthusiastic about the opportunity to further my education at San Francisco University, a renowned institution known for its academic excellence and innovative approach to education. I'm confident that my background, combined with my personal attributes and aspirations, make me a suitable candidate for a esteemed program. I'm eager to contribute to the diverse academic community at San Francisco University and to leverage this opportunity to realize my academic and professional goals. Thank you for considering my application. I look forward to the opportunity to further discuss my qualifications and aspirations with the admissions committee. Sincerely, Alekhya Uppalapati. So this statement of purpose is written according to the CV or the profile given in your question paper. So go through the profile, frame the sentences, write what is the information about the person. It's very simple. And why do you want to join the university? So this is how I have tried to solve this question paper. Now we again let's try to review. It's very lengthy question paper, so I thought to review again. So you have here 2 marks, 5 questions, 5 marks, 4 questions, 10 marks, 1 questions. Then you had jumbled segments, 2 marks. Then you have comprehension passage, 3 marks questions, paragraph writing, 5 marks, picture interpretation, 5 marks, and writing and SOP or statement of purpose, 5 marks. So this is how the marks division or the QP pattern. So friends, this is how I try to solve the question paper here, spoken English for global communication, 4th semester for all the degree courses. So I would say here, it is not exactly required that you go through only the 4th semester or your own semester's question paper. You go through all the semester's question papers. All the semester's question papers are going to help you to prepare for the examination, because this open elective is common for everybody. So obviously the questions will appear from the same syllabus. So more question papers you have, the more practice will help you. So thank you so much. If you like this video, click on the like button, write in the comment box. If you are not yet subscribed my channel, please do subscribe. Thank you. I wish you good luck for the examination. Dear friends, thank you so much for watching this video. You can reach me at mukeshenglish@gmail.com. Please do subscribe the channel, click on the like button for more videos on literature, workbook, pronunciation, grammar, communication skills, presentation skills, interview skills. Stay in tune with Mukesh English. Thank you once again.